the intro music. Yeah! Woohoo!
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to patch number 46, introducing Deep Space Nine into Star Trek Fleet Command, and going to go through the patch notes one by one, but also try to give you a little bit of insight into some of the things the patch note doesn't cover, because that happens every time, right? We have new things come out, and it's like, well, how does this work? Well, maybe not in the notes, maybe a content creator can give you a little insight into the game. Now, I do want to start off with some of this month and explain some things real quick. One, if you haven't already, in the comments, I'm actually going to include the form for the incursion survey. If you've not checked that out, if you've not participated, you're greatly needed. Goal is to reach 5,000 people in that survey so the dev team can see what the players think about incursions. We've already had some great feedback so far, but we need your opinion if you haven't done already. Please share that out with your Alliance, Discord, Facebook, Twitter, wherever. Definitely important. So let's go over what all this provides and what it can do for you in the game. And I want to really point out that we've had a really rough few months when it comes to the way arcs are presented. This isn't just talking about Strange New Worlds, by the way. It's even going back to Lower Decks, just it hasn't been a lot of continuity. We haven't had that same thematic feel, you know, keeping with this particular lore and writing it straight through. Now, if you remember when those months would happen, typically is they'd start off slow and build up and build up. And I really want to preface that about this month so that you kind of get that back into your psyche, because you're not used to it anymore. You haven't seen it in a while. But if you do remember it, smash that like button, because I think this, many people might read this and be like, but I promise you, wait to the end. All right, so we're going to start with the major points right here. Alliance Starbases are coming into the game, and yes, I'm excited about them. However, the first thing everybody's going to say month one is that we've got Alliance mining bases, because that's exactly how they work. They're Alliance mining bases. You literally will use them to mine plasma. But don't worry, that's just for now. Keep in mind, it's rolling out in stages, in features. In a lot of ways, this is a complete overhaul and adding a very brand new system to the game. And this is exciting if you're an Armadas player, because it's built around Armadas. But the good news is, y'all are going, whoa, hold on. I know what you're thinking. New Armadas, crap, new currencies. Good news, these will use the original Armada currencies. So when you go after those Cardassian stations, because there are, what, 12 new systems with Cardassian. Wonder what they look like. Cardassian stations that you got to target. Regular directives don't have a new currency like you had to have with, Eclipse and other things out there. So that's something to take note. So M46 will introduce Alliance Starbases, a new feature which allows alliances to work together and build massive space stations to harvest a new material, plasma. Now, there's going to be a lot of things to this. It's going to work in terms of docking, similar to how like you have a station hub where everybody relocates their station. Similar things where you're going to move your Alliance Starbase to get it to start mining that, to get upgrades and very powerful buffs for you and your Alliance mates. Starbase modules provide with direct benefits such as combat buffs, indirects, enable them to do research nodes specifically in the Starbase research tree. So yes, as you can see, new research is coming to the game. Get excited. We like new research. Alliance Starbases require alliances to work together to coordinate where to relocate the ASB in order to optimize its ability to harvest plasma in the plasma storms. So if you're not excited about that, look, team building as well as great rewards and great out down the road. Keep watching. I'm telling you, there's more coming to this, so be patient. Moving on to the 3 officers that you're getting this month, starting off with Benjamin Sisko. Won't have to put the thing on the wall because look, they included it. All the abilities, look at that, that's crazy. Cap's ability's persistence is key. Increases armor, shield deflection, dodge by total health when fighting armadas. That's 400% base with a 500% big bonus, so maxing out at 1400% with full synergy. Could be pretty good there. Very much like you would run 5 of 11 as captain, same thing as the idea with his captain's maneuver. But the officer ability is defensive measures, increases critical hit chance against armadas by X% every round, maxing out at 12%. This is very similar to Khan. essentially. So it's like you took 5 of 11's captain's ability and con, and you merged them together like a baby. The only difference is you don't actually have to get hit for that to count. So this immediately just became your best critical officer to start criticals in an armada. Now, you will need it to probably get at least tier 2 for you immediately feel like it's better than con, because maxed out con at 5% eventually gets rolling and works out pretty well. Obviously, Honor Guard Worf came out as PvP only. Cisco is now giving you an armada option with also a good captain's ability. So going to be really curious to see how people play out with these different officers and load out. And this isn't breaking the armada meta, but it definitely is adding to it. I think it's adding to it in a good way. And you see the theme of the officers just go around. Moving on to Kira Nerys, again, seeing the same theme. Armadas reduces critical hit chance of our Cardassian armada by X%, with her base being 2, and then the big synergy bonus being 2, so maxing out at 6%. Now, is that necessarily as exciting? You'll have to see what the stats of these Cardassian armadas look like. But realistically, I think you're going to see her more as a rare, which means we usually with rares focus on officer ability, which is decreasing armor, shield, deflection, and dodge of the armadas. You've got Cisco, who's boosting your mitigation, and you've got her, who's dropping your opponent's mitigation. Pretty good combination. Potentially deadly. There you go. When you hit with a weapon, by the way. So it is a little tweak there, but still 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30%. Then finally, Miles O'Brien. He's a rare here. At the start of each round as a captain, X% chance to double the shots against armadas. This is interesting as an officer ability. Now, he's got a below deck ability that I actually am super excited about, and I will admit I actually love this. Increase warp speed by X% up to 150% as a below deck ability. I personally love that. If you are getting into the 40s and 50s now, you know about warp times and warp ranges. And even with the research, and even with these super highways that exist for way out in deep space, that's actually going to be useful for me as an everyday. But that officer ability is intriguing, especially if you could maybe pair it with other officers out there. Like what if we were to run like a Picard Beverly run? Or what if we were, we'll think about that in an upcoming video. We've got to keep it moving though. Moving on, there are 3 refits. These don't make a lot of sense to me why they exist, especially since I just talked about thematically, but they're kind of cool in how they work. Base mitigation stats getting a 200% boost. Okay, cool, thanks. For the Augur, the Enterprise, and the D4. Okay, I've got no problem with it. It's just random. Now, I do want to point out something. With conflict comes opportunity. Man, that sounds very Ferengi. As the Federation, Klingons, and the Romulan Star Empire continue to face off in ever-escalating battles across the quadrant, more and more vessels are left abandoned, broken, and ready to hijack. So they're using the word hijack. We'll see, everybody. We'll figure it out. New projectile skin only gonna be available in the web store. A critical damage boost by 25%. Think of how Curlo works in the game, but for all weapons and perma boost. Value up to you to decide, but 25% is 25%. And for criticals, if y'all remember how the math that works, it actually does add up. And if you remember the math, I want to see somebody comment the math in the video. Can somebody do that, please? I want to see in this video, in the comments, somebody show me that you know how the math of critical hits work. I want to see it. I'm watching you. Who's actually watching videos? All right. There are 4 new automatically activating consumables coming to the game. You can see by the invading and the defending and the winning server. These are all to do with incursions. Then we got the new Fed Klingon ROM recruitment bundles, something that DJ hinted at heavily. We're going into more detail here, but a new gacha token that you can go through the faction store and redeem. You're still keeping the original from what I've been told and having the new one as no option. Now you're getting these new officers to source. Klingons, you're getting these added in as faction sourcing. Honor Guard Worf, nice in there. And then you got these for Federation and these for Romulan. Romulan feels a little light, but that actually makes those easier to max, giving more and more incentive to go after Romulan in this game. Not only do they have the battleships, which are definitely eating up the new PvP meta, but now they've also got this advantage. And then you've got the Federation, which loaded, but also really good officers in it, like Harrison for Roe, Leslie, Hendor for XP grinding, Leslie for other things. So interesting. And then you got the new mission set coming through. DS9 missions. I will go ahead and tell you now, think of this as a hint to what's coming. You're going to want to pay attention to storylines and missions in Deep Space Nine. Let me just say this, the amount of effort and creativity, pay attention, and I think you're going to have fun. Well, I'm really curious to see how that plays out. I'm sorry, I said 12 before, 19 new Bajor systems with the new armadas in them, new frames, new avatars, and then bug fixes, including, hopefully this works, where multiple alliances targeting the same armada, causing people to lose armada credits being fixed, and a few different things here with improvements. So hopefully y'all enjoy what's coming. I am very excited to have DS9 here. And from the outside looking in, all of this looks like it's a very quality update with a lot of good features. And for those who are about to ask about officer sourcing, I've talked to the dev. He said he'll be very surprised if most people are not ending up with at least the rares, but the end. So keep that in mind. Now, I'm gonna let y'all see how it works out. We're gonna have like a little mini event store thing, which I'm really intrigued about. I'm gonna have fun with, similar to how we had the Ferengi mini event store when we had the Dabo table. So think of that when it comes to mechanic. If you remember that month, most people were able to get enough good rolls to get the officers they were looking for. But anytime you add Scopely RNG in there, well, yeah, let me know. You already know. I'm trying to be positive because Deep Space Nine is here and I love Deep Space Nine, but we'll see where we're at when we get underway. But this is what we've been showed so far. It's what we've talked about. We did manage to give them really good feedback about events and stuff weeks in advance. So we'll see how that rolls out and hopefully you enjoy it. And I need to know what you think, obviously, but live long and prosper. Stay safe for the Space Cowboys. Deuce. That's me. I'll catch you on the next Star Trek Fleet Command video and live stream, which is going to be for me in a few hours because we're giving away battle passes and then more coming as well. So y'all are amazing. Deuces. Catch you on the next one. We out.
An even better outro than the intro. For the Empire and glory to your house.